right now, but you touched on it, and I want to just, I suppose, show people how much of a change this is, because I think back in, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, back in that 2007, 2008 range, when the whole recession hit, I mean, you're obviously doing new build construction, which is the worst market to be in at that time. And talk through that stage in your
life. Brutal time. That was the last downturn that I will ever actually be at the helm for, since we sold. But yeah, 6 and 7 as things slowed down. We were a mid-sized company, 4 or 5% of the marketplace in the Phoenix market only. As we rode through there, it was really about survival, and we just did everything we could to earn a dollar, try to cover our overheads, and just make it out the other side. And as we did that, we started, putting strategies together about, just minimal cost, and basically we went and got a dollar anywhere we could get a dollar. Today, we don't do any custom home building at all. At that time frame, we worked anywhere we could work. And again, just to literally scratch out a dollar to try to make it to the next week. Along the way there, the opportunity that provided us, people became available. So when we were a smaller player, it's much like the current marketplace. There was nobody available. You couldn't hire anybody. You couldn't hire anybody that actually, knew what they were doing. And so consequent to that, we just stayed a small company. And as it slowed down, we actually kind of took advantage of that, not really understanding the gravity of the situation that was in front of us. That was in the spring of 2008. We made a conscious decision to go take market share. There was employees available. Some of the big boys had shut down through 2006, 2007. So there was not a glut of labor, but there were definitely labor available. And so we were in that mindset. And then October of 2008 happened. And, I guess to kind of talk about numbers and what I remember off the top of my head, I know in August we did, it was 265 starts that month in August in 2008. January, February of 2009, we started 19 houses. So the market completely went away. Again, that's why we were scratching and clawing. Currently it's tailed off a little bit. The end of the year is typically slower than the spring. But this year, earlier this spring, we were doing 160 starts a week. And, it really was, in hindsight, you look back and you say, man, how did we survive that? 19 for a whole month, and we're doing 160 a week. And so again, we have good people. And then I think really where it started is probably about 5-6 years ago, is really starting intentionally change the structure of the leadership team. And with that, added some additional processes that I know you're really familiar with. The one that we happened to go with was EOS. But I think the leadership is what really was critically important. And the interesting part of it was we didn't change anybody. We just changed, I guess, what their focus was. I mentioned we had 3 different operational entities. Each one of those had a president, and they were kind of in a silo. They didn't really talk to one another. The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And so in September 2016, we did what we called a retreat the first time. It since has become a summit. But we went up and kind of declared some new intentions. So we had we looked ahead and said, hey, a 5-year plan. And this is pre-EOS. Where do we want to be in 2020 and 2021? And when we did that, it really became apparent that we couldn't do it in the current configuration that we found ourselves in. And, with individuals in silos, not understanding what the others are doing. And so we reconstituted our leadership team. And as we did that, basically we all became one team, that overarching leadership over all the entities. And so one guy was responsible for, let's say, sales. Another was responsible for operations in the field. We had another gentleman that was responsible for all operational support, so all the internal operations that support the field. And then we had, of course, our CFO, which was responsible for human capital, and financial capital and all the banking side of things and insurances. And I sat kind of in the middle as the CEO.